All right, guys, the Arctic blast has blowed over, so we'll get the stuff done in the shop. So stick around. We're working on more than one in this video. Yep, get a little bit of snow here. Coming down pretty good. They call for 6 inches, but I don't think we're gonna get that. I don't know, it's doing good now. Yep, got a little snow, a few inches. Yeah, that's a lot of snow. It hardly ever snows here every few years. Last time it snowed like this, Charlotte was way out there back before I pulled her up in the chop shop. Welcome back to the School of Rat Rodology, a little shop where dreams come true. My name is Rat Rod Bob, and I build stuff. So I got the FTI transmission out of the box. Getting ready to get the block over here and bolt it up and stick it in the hole. But before I do, I got to cut the big block Chevrolet mounts out, these guys. So I got a mark there where I need to cut it. Plus it's got a brace on the bottom, it's got to be cut both sides. Plus I had the BBC, I had the big block Chevrolet mounted solid, as you could tell, no rubber. This was the block mount. I had it mounted solid, so I got to cut this off too. Yeah, I got my trusty Best Art 80 amp plasma cutter hooked up, ready to go to work. All right, we're ready to make fire. See what happened. I got a straight edge here to help me out. So I got those smoothed up a little bit, good enough. I got the transmission out of the box. I got the block chained up. Bolt holes, run a tap through the bolt holes, get the rust out of them. Yeah, this FTI transmission is a fine piece. And if you want one, there's a phone number. 1-866-726-8358. Just in case you want to know. All right, now I got to marry these two, get them screwed together. You know how it is when you get married, you're pretty much screwed. So, all right, so we're gonna do that. By the way, Michael, if you're watching, this transmission didn't have a breather. I just happen to have a couple extra ones. I mean, that's just like a nylon, but I got it screwed in. Look like it's 3/8 fine thread. I got that one screwed in pretty tight, probably do the trick. I'm gonna need a dipstick tube, transmission mount, or maybe I can rob one off my TH400 if it'll fit. I could do that. Yep, we screwed now. All right, looks like we're gonna need that plate that goes behind the block, between the block and the bell housing to hold that starter. The reason why is because that top hole is not threaded, watered out. You see the bottom hole is threaded. 3/8 standard thread like it's supposed to be. But the top hole, not so much. So, yeah, that little bit would cause the pinion on the starter to maybe skip on the flywheel gear. So, yeah, I wouldn't trust that. So we're gonna need a plate that goes between the engine block and the bell housing. I mean, this here, this is not gonna do it because that's still gonna let it do that at the top. So, and that's just enough for that gear to screw up. I mean, I don't want the first time I hit the starter for it to rip the teeth off the flywheel or the starter, so that'd be a bad day. All right, let me stick it in the hole, see what we got. So I got it stuck in there. Looks like it might fit, but I think Michael wants to be able to pull the transmission out without pulling the engine. When I built this with the big block Chevrolet, I built it where the transmission, you had to pull the engine and the transmission out to get the transmission. So I think Michael wants to be able to pull the transmission out without pulling the engine. If that's the case, I'm gonna have to cut way back into the firewall. I mean, you see it ain't, it's right there. I might can move the engine forward a little bit. I won't know till I get the radiator. Michael's sending me a radiator to test fit. I mean, but the radiator's got to be, it's got to be far enough forward for the belt to clear. So I think the other radiator was probably right there close. So I probably won't be able to move the engine any further forward. Of course, I won't know till I get the radiator. And so that's where we at right now. When I get the radiator here, we'll get a closer, better idea of what it's gonna look like. All right. You see the transmission fits nice and snug in there, but it's a little shorter than the TH400, so we got plenty of room for a transmission. Just the engine and the blower belt and a radiator. All this up front might be a problem. I don't know yet till we get everything we need. Michael's got a radiator on the way for me to get this fitting. So while I'm waiting on that, I got this bad boy up in here. It seems the solenoids on the air system is stuck for the rear airbags. So I'm gonna see if I can make those work, or see if we got to buy new ones, or I'll make and unstick them. We'll see what happens. So I got the pump unmounted. The pump works, pumps air, and the electric magnets work. I got them unbolted. The electric magnets work. So evidently the valves are stuck in here. So I got all the air lines off. I'm fixing to take we got some bolts back there. I'm fixing to get them bolts out and get this whole assembly out on a bench so I can look at it, see what's up. I got the solenoids working where it goes up and down by switches in the dash like it's supposed to. So yeah, it's a tight fit up there. Got a lot of stuff in that one little hole. So yeah, we got her going up and down. So the Falcon is going in storage for a week or so while I'm waiting on a radiator and other parts. We'll get the 34 over here and get the body off the frame and start getting the frame ready to weld up, mount the steering box, all that good stuff. So yeah, looks good, don't it? Yeah, that's a good spot for it. beside the old junkyard dog, it'd be fine. Another week or so, it'll go back in the shop, ready to fit the motor and transmission, hopefully. So I got the rat rod shop stacked full of rat rod parts. I mean, you can see it everywhere. The 429 engine for the 34, the 496 for the Chevy 2 Nova build in the future. I got Michael's big block Ford block and that high dollar Powerglide transmission right there covered up. There's a TH400 for the 496 Chevy 2 Nova build in the future. And I just got stuff stacked everywhere. I mean, I'm out of room, totally out of room. So, I need to build rat rods to get stuff out of the way. I got too much stuff, imagine that. Yeah, Elvira's keeping us straight though. All right, so we'll get to 34 back out in the middle of the shop. Before I pull the body off, I want to get the power steering. Well, it ain't power steering. I want to get the manual steering box, the Vega steering box mounted, so I know exactly where it needs to go. And then I'll pull the body off, front and rear axles out, get the frame where I can. It's got a lot of welding to do, top, bottom, everywhere. I got to be able to get it where I can roll it around and weld all the frame up. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do now. So we got the steering box mounted, but there ain't no room for no oil filter adapter or nothing. There ain't no room for nothing there for oil filter. So I got an oil filter relocator, but that's not even gonna fit. So of course the motor's gonna angle back a little bit, but not that much, I don't think. So door squeaking, wind blowing the door, hinges squeaking on the door. All right, so yeah, design chair time. See what we're gonna do about this problem. All right, we dropped the steering box down a little bit. Now you see we got room for the oil filter relocator adapter, and we got just enough room for a shaft to clear over top of this. So we're gonna mount it right there. It'll work. Problem solved. So got the body off. Now I know where I need to mount for the steering box. I'm welded on later, but I know exactly where it needs to go. I already got one hole drilled. So we'll get the front axle out with the wishbones and or hairpins, and get the 4-link, get the rear end coil springs, coil lowers off the back, get the rear end out. Then we have the bare frame to deal with, because I got a lot of welding to do. You know, most of this bracing and all is just welded on the top side, so I got to get it all cleaned up, welded under the bottom. All the 4-link mounts has got to be welded solid. Yeah, we're getting it, just ain't got it yet. All right, we got a 34 strip down. Get started welding the frame up, clean it up, get ready for paint. Door hinges squeaking. Yeah, we got it laid up on the side so I can get to it. Got the rear end out, body off, parts thrown everywhere. So little junk table, Vega steering box. I got the mount for it welded on right there. Get started welding motor mounts. I'm not a good welder, by the way. Gorilla weld, strong and ugly, but hey, who cares? It's a rat rod. Who knows? Might build one of those these days. All right, guys, we're getting it. We just ain't got it yet. Appreciate you. See you next time.